Morning, y'all. It's Timothy. How are we doing today? It is currently November 1st, 2 p.m. Not bad, not bad. Everything's going well in life. I made a white man go from being in love with me to threatening to kill me and calling me all sorts of slurs to, in about a week, maybe 2 weeks, I forget how long it's been, time's been a weird thick jelly, I have made him and his entire family scared for his life, deservedly so. But it's so funny because it's like I haven't given them a reason to be scared for their lives, but I just naturally have that effect on people. It doesn't take much from someone like me. And I know you're like, Tamia, but you're always dressed in pink and gold and you're so friendly and you always, you smell nice and you have succulents. You could be evil and also take care of yourself. Just because I wear a certain color does not mean I'm a good person, I'm just saying. But am I a good person? Yeah, at heart. But if you knew the shit I did within these past few weeks, you'd be like, damn, girl, I think you're kind of losing it. I was losing it. Let's not talk about it too much, other than let's just say that I get the desired effect. Yes, I may have fucked up that man's life. And ironically, he is still attracted to me throughout all of it. So, a little accomplished. And we are still trying to work things out. And I know you're like, Tamia, how are you trying to work things out? He has begged me not to post certain things about him online so that then he can get a job and not just totally be blackballed by society. And in return, we can have one phone call a week so that I can try to make him, I don't know, just for pleasantry's sake. It's like, I know you're like, why would you want to talk to a man like that? I got free time to kill. And also, it was one of those things where as I met him, I was like, this guy's got massive issues. I don't know. I suspect he's been to a conversion camp of some sort, because how do you go from being a trans communist lady who's all about equal rights to, in a year or so, you go to being this super alt-right, super Christian dude who secretly has panic attacks all the time and can never stop shaking and always seems like he's at the verge of tears. Like, it's kind of hard to be threatened by the type of dude who, unprovoked in conversation once, he was like, whatever you do, if one day you're ever mad at me, please don't beat me. Like, I just can't handle getting beat anymore. And I was like, I haven't even yelled at you. What? It was just, that came out of nowhere, sweetie. Not to say I haven't beaten niggas up. I have. I have. But it's like, I wasn't thinking that at that point in time. It was just kind of like a weird, like, I don't know, something bad happened to them. And I just feel sort of sorry for them. They don't have many friends, and they got issues, and they're lonely, and their family's not that supportive. And I guess now we're at a weird point where it's like, I don't know. I think they're still having some sort of internal conflict about me. Because, funny enough, let's just say shit hit the fan a few days ago with them, unexpectedly, and a bunch of their relationships with their family members are now extremely strained, because I imagine it's really hard to come back from like, oh shit, Tamidi has in 4K me saying in voicemails how I've bought drugs from prostitutes and homeless people, and how homosexual people do meth, and how he wants to suck dick in my honor, and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's like, yeah, kind of, you're very alt-right, very conservative, like very like 1488 type family. Is not the fan of that. So yeah, and then he was crying to me about it. But we have a complex little dynamic, so it was one of those things where it's like, it was kind of awkward. The first half of the day was me just drunkenly calling them, leaving a voicemail to complain about my woes in typical psycho bitch fashion. And then they just so happened to pick up. Then we had a pleasant talk for like an hour, maybe even 2 hours, just like, I don't know, just they let me vent about all the stuff going on in my life with betrayals and stress and putting too much pressure and expectations on myself. And then we also talked about how we genuinely felt about each other before shit hit the fan way too hard, with me being mentally ill, there being a people pleaser, and how things went wrong, and how at some point we both genuinely did have feelings for each other, and meant what we said when we drove to their place to fuck. We both confessed we had feelings for each other. And just like, they claimed that their feelings for me were genuine. I still think it was limerence, which is fine, but it doesn't really matter now. But it is nice to know that at least at some point we both genuinely liked each other. Too bad it did not work out. And if you're like, what happened? Well, there's like 8 videos I have to upload to explain the thing, and I'm debating on if I'll upload them or not. It just got very intense, and we both did a lot of bad things. But I will say this. I don't know if I want to fix them or not, but I guess, I don't know, fixing people is pretty difficult. I know that as a woman-ish person, if you're a woman, you can get men to do a lot of things if you do a specific psychological process. Like, look at Erykah Badu. Like, that bitch would make typical street dudes turn into fucking hippies. Like, you know, and make them all spiritual and whimsical and shit. And, you know, and it's just like, I'm just saying, I don't want to keep fucking white dudes and having them come out the other side as worse people or whatever. And here's a chance where it's like, okay, I know what I am as a person. I know what darkness is within me, and I know what light is within me. And that is exactly why me and him still have a kind of weird bond, where it's like, to me, it's the one who fucked up my life. But she's also the only person I can talk to about this, and she's honestly, even before this, was the most understanding person in my life. And now, and shit just got weird. So now we're just doing things. I don't know. Funny enough, in the phone call we had, where like they were kind of blowing up at me about how fucking hard I kind of torpedoed their life, and how they, like, something random that they said in the midst of being depressed and angry and sad is that they just said, I should have came in you, like when we met up that last time. And I was speechless. I was like, oh, because I'll put it this way. If the context of the conversation is how I just fucked up your life, and now everyone in your family fucking hates you right now and is afraid and shit, and I'm tearing your family apart, and then the next second you're talking about how badly you still want to have sex with me. It's like, But it was a low moment for them, and I think they even knew that too. They were just like, I have nothing to lose. And then we just started talking pleasantly about, like, I get just like, okay, if you have nothing to lose, what are some things you want to do? And they were like, give me some ideas. I was like, you could cook, you could bake, you could go to your place, your apartment while you still have it, and just spend some time alone painting your figurines. You could practice reading. You know, you could go to a spa, you could do this, you could do that. I was just listing out things for them to do. I don't know. I think everyone has potential bad in their system. They do. Everyone has potential bad in their system. It all matters with how you handle it. And I guess in this situation, it's like, alright, we're even now. You threatened terrible, terrible, terrible things against my life, and I did terrible things to yours. There's nothing more we can do to each other. Let's just be peaceful. And then every now and then we text a little bit. And even then, sometimes I'll catch them trying to call me and then just trying to gaslight me like, what? No, I didn't call you. No, it doesn't matter even if I did. Because I think deep down they're having a crisis about how I'm one of the most comfortable people in their life right now. But how I'm kind of the reason their life fucked up. Not the first time someone's had that bond with me. I find him, I don't know. If I had to describe how I feel about this guy, a part of me almost pities him, but I don't. I no longer feel rage against him, and I no longer feel bad about what I did to him. It's just kind of like, alright, good luck out there, bro, and whatever happens next happens. I, I won't say I love him, no. Do I like him? Eh. Do I hate him? Eh. Nah. I just find him to be a pathetic white boy that has no sense of self. And there's a quote I heard in the movie Begonia recently, which I saw before anyone else did. Hell yeah. Focus inside a group team. Amen. They had a quote in the movie where a guy talked about how he was on every bit of the political spectrum. He was in the LGBT, he was alt-right, leftist, libertarian, some centrist, how he tried all sorts of things, and he just said, hey, when you don't know yourself, you tend to do that. So you enter a store hungry, you end up buying everything in the store. And it's like, yeah, to me, Luke, the guy I saw recently, he's the type of person that tried everything in the store. That's why a few years ago he was Beatrice, a trans, heroin-addicted, drunk communist trying to instigate communist revolutions in drunk tanks and narrowly getting beaten to death, if not for the cops throwing them back out on the street with their drunk ass. And out here living a crazy, crazy life. And then now they are just like some wannabe fascist loser. that can't even, like, stand up for themselves in any way. I find them to be pathetic and harmless, and they know that. And sad. They have self-esteem issues. They don't know what they want in their life at all, and sometimes I think to myself, maybe chaos needs to happen so that people can truly find themselves. Like, for example, this is not my first time doing this to somebody at all. But you know what? When I crash out, sometimes it helps people. I crashed out on my ex Morgan. Next thing you know, we dated for like a year. And he started being like this damn near family man type. He was doing right by his family. He was going to church, embracing his religion. He was taking care of me. He was taking good care of himself, making money, and hell, let's just say it had a turn of events where now he has a really good job as a gardener and he works a bunch and makes a lot of money. He's still a pathetic loser, and he definitely fucked that. Like, he was on a path to doing good, and then he relapsed, and it's just like he fucked up too hard with me. So I just stopped investing my good energy into him, because then he started trying to fuck with me. And then as for JC, JC, hell, it's very funny that I almost stabbed JC last November. And then what, like 4 days, 5 days ago, that nigga was eating my asshole in his car and getting me anything I wanted in the store and talking to me about my life and singing Lady Gaga with me as we drove around the hills. Life can surprise you. It really, really can. I think everyone has the potential to be good. I think good can come from bad if people try. I've done terrible things in my lifetime, and I'm okay with that. I think shame is a foolish thing. I'm blessed enough where I can live a life of mostly no shame. And so it's like, alright. Like, I remember when I was 19, I dated this one dude before the pandemic. Things got very, very volatile, and I felt bad about it for ages. But you know what? As time went on, I tried our best to rebuild our bond. We had stronger boundaries. I worked on my temperament towards him. I worked on any urges for violence I had back then. Except, honestly, he was the first to do that. Like, no, I was not just hitting people, and then he triggered that. And I know you're like, that's such an abuser thing to say. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a great person sometimes. But I don't just hit niggas. Believe it or not. I don't just hit niggas like that. And that ex-boyfriend, oh, to this day, I'm just saying, I'll put it this way, you shouldn't have your girl best friend secretly at your house around midnight doing movie watch parties without me knowing. And he should have been so much more respectful. He was a dick. He was gaslighting, he was negging, he was condescending all the fucking time. It was one of those things where eventually I just fucking snapped. Because it's like, stop treating me like I'm a fucking idiot or subhuman and treat me like with respect. Communicate with me. Try to understand me. He wasn't, so, but whatever. Either way, we still put in the groundwork to talk to each other respectfully, treat each other respectfully, work within boundaries. If we would meet up, it would be nothing sexual. It would be like, let's go to the beach for a little bit and just like paint and like try out my new watercolor markers and like book trade. Let's have night, like, and he made a rule like no nighttime visits, no private visits. Everywhere has to be public. And we would meet up every now and then, just for short little meetups like a movie or something or an activity, and we had fun. And I felt our bond getting stronger and things growing a lot healthier between us, and it felt really, really nice. Eventually, we did get comfortable enough to have sex again, and it surprisingly did not hit the fan. But I still recognized that it was bad. I'll put it this way. When I want to, I can have a lot of self-control. People like to think that I'm a brash, violent, scary individual, but it takes a lot for me to get there, because I tolerate a lot. I'm one of those people that I can smile in your face and secretly want you dead, and you'd have no fucking idea. Also, related, I'll have to tell you a story about a friend of mine who is now an ex-friend, for a similar reason. But it was funny, that same ex-friend, they heard we were at an event that I produce, And then some asshole was giving me like mansplaining shitty advice and stuff. And then afterwards, I was complaining to my buddy about it. I was like, this guy is such an idiot. He said only run an event at this hour for this long, and all his advice was shitty. It was terrible. And then he tried to be all, oh, really? I didn't know you hated that conversation that much. The way you were looking and smiling and talking, I thought you two were having a joyous time. And ever since that day, my buddy was a little afraid of me, which was funny because like, it took less than 24 hours for then my buddy to be put in a situation. You know what? Fuck it. I'll talk about this now. My comedy buddy, or ex-comedy buddy now. The day after that, we had an event together. We were supposed, I'll put it this way, we made a deal. If we run an event together, we split the money that we get from the bar 50-50. It's not much, 10%, but you know what? It makes a world of difference, especially for me. I'm unemployed, mostly, aside from comedy producer stuff. And even then, like I said, 10% in tips. Mm. And then as for my buddy, he's a rich ex-lawyer, and I'm pretty sure he's got Social Security somehow. I'm just saying. I'll put it like this. Imagine you have one of your longest, heaviest, most packed nights ever. Tons of fucking people come through. Tons of fucking people come through. And they spend fucking money. The night goes on until like 11. And then for someone like me, you're doing all the knobs in the back, the knobs in the DJ booth. You're adjusting everything so the mic sounds perfect for each person. You're hyping people up, clapping for them, running the lights, running the sounds, running the music, everything. And my old ass buddy could barely even read off the fucking list to announce he was coming up next. Annoyed the shit out of me. But either way, I'll put it this way. I'm such a hardworking individual, and I worked my ass off that night, and I did great, and it was an awesome evening, and people loved me, and they were ecstatic that I was there. You want to know what happened at the end of the night? My buddy comes by. He said, we made a good profit tonight. We made 35 bucks. Hey! And then he tosses me a $10 bill. That's not even 1/3, nonetheless 50%. So I was like, hey, we were supposed to have and remember I was tipsy off of 2 Moscow mules, so I was blunt as fuck. I was like, I noticed that this isn't quite 50%. Can I ask, like, if you just got the math wrong, or did something change and you just wanna, because if you just wanna change it, then I guess just let me know so I'm not caught off guard like this. And then, like, he tried to gaslight me on some, no, it's never been 50%. I've never offered that. No, no. And then tried to, it's like, but you could kind of see in his eyes that it's like he knows the deal was 50%. He knows. I remember the only time it was ever less than 50%, the only time it was ever a third was a night where the DJ booth was not working for me and where the speakers didn't work and my phone broke. Ironically, because of him, he knocked my fucking phone off a table. Ooh, he pisses me off. So I'll put it this way. And then I remember that one night he said we made like 20 bucks at the bar, and then he gave me 5 bucks and said, here, I'm giving you a third of the money because I just feel like I did most of the work tonight. Is that okay? And I was like, yeah, yeah, sure, whatever, because that night I felt like I didn't do that much. Or even though technically in hindsight, that also was a night where I worked my ass off. Because actually, yeah, I'm gonna say it. I worked my ass off that night. Because when my buddy was parking his car, I set up the lights, I set up all the tripods, I set up the speakers, I did the sound system, front sound system, DJ booth. He didn't even want me to leave, even though the music wasn't working, so I couldn't even DJ. And he was actually demanding, even if I went outside for like 5 minutes just to take some no, not even two, just a singular minute or two, he would hound me outside like, Tam, can you get back in the booth? We want to adjust the knobs so the next performer sounds good. And then I would have to be stuck in that fucking tiny ass booth with shitty ass comedians, shitty ass fucking wooden seat that was killing my ass, and just every now and then adjust one single knob every now and then to make sure a comedian sounds louder or like less hissy or pitchy. Cause this old nigga didn't want to fuck it. And then this, like, I did everything that night, and also in hindsight, if we made a $20 profit and you give me $5, that's not even a third of the money. That's 1/4. So actually, this has been a long time coming. So fast forward to what I was saying. When like 2 Tuesdays ago, when my buddy was all, oh no, I never said I'd give you 50%, when it had always been 50% before that. Always. He had some fucking nerve. I remember the way that I was drunk, and also I just thought to myself, I'm too drunk to deal with this, but even then, even if I wasn't, I just don't feel like dealing with the capacity of this right now. I want to be in a good mood. I thought to myself specifically, I forget the context. Was this when Luke was sending me racist death threats? Yeah, I remember. That was after that. I was already stressed out. That's why I had the 2 drinks. Because I was so betrayed and pissed and sad that someone I loved threatened to kill me like that and called me slurs. But as I was saying, yeah, I just told my comedy buddy, oh, well, it doesn't matter to me. And then he said, what are you really thinking? Come on, what are you really thinking? Because you could see fear in his eyes of like, I can't tell what Tam's thinking. And I know I'm doing her wrong, but I want to know if she knows I'm doing her wrong or what she's actually thinking. And I wasn't going to reveal my thoughts like that. But I just kind of played like indifferent. And I was like, I don't really care. And he was like, come on. And I said, what? I don't have an opinion. And he just kind of looked at me, kind of like, increasingly more concerned, and he said, please tell me what you're thinking, please. And then because he knows me, he knows that I can have a delayed crash out, or that I can say that I can smile in your face like, yeah, that's totally fine, and then secretly be like, I'm never gonna fucking talk to you again, which was going through my mind. But I did just think to myself that I would wait. In all honesty, I just wanted to enjoy the whole drunken state so that I could do the crash out I had planned for Luke. Because I was too stressed out. I was like, do I want to fuck up this nigga's life who threatened to murder me or not? Because what if he does murder me? Am I prepared for that? Do I want to hurt this guy? I love him. I don't want to hurt him, but fuck him too. You want to know what I did? I just was like, yeah, I don't really care. And he didn't believe me. And I said, I'm really just focused on trying to like enjoy the drunken state I'm in right now so I can text a white supremacist and his family terrible things about him. He tried to fucking murder me, and I'm just trying to be happy and drunk and peaceful so I can plan my crash out accordingly and not be stressed out. That's all I want to do. I have no other thoughts in my mind aside from just trying to have a good night, because whether I crash out tonight or not, I just want to be in a happy mood. And then my buddy still kept trying to like passive aggressively antagonize or allude that, like, he tried to be like, so how are those 2 drinks I bought you? Like trying to allude that was gonna be worth not paying me. And I said, it was good, it was good. Thank you for giving it to me, because, you know, that's always been in the deal for us. And even you've never had to, but thank you for 2 drinks. And, like, and then on top of that, he also then tried to make an illusion that, like, I told him recently, because for an event that I produce, that I do a lot of hard work in, this nigga, I told him weeks ago that my Venmo locked me out. That's not a fucking lie. It locked me out of my main email, and because my phone broke, because my comedy nigga was stupid enough weeks ago and knocked it off of a fucking table and it hasn't worked since, which ironically led to the night where I got paid less at his event. Sorry. Also, I apologize if this is difficult to understand. I'm just trying to explain as much as I can. My phone is broke. My Venmo locked me out, and it needs 2-step verification for either an email I don't have access to or a phone number I don't have access to. No other method. There's no way to get me in. And then on top of that, on top of all of that, yeah, I'll put it this way. I'm locked out of everything. So any money Luke gave me to invest into myself, I can't access. Any payments I did get from my own venue that I produce and he hosts at, I don't have access to those funds. And it was supposed to only just be for 1 fucking week that we didn't have the money. Okay, but then next thing you know, it was the second week. And I already told the venue owner, I was like, hey, just so you know, my Venmo's not working. Can you send money to this PayPal instead? He was like, okay, Tamity, I got it for you. You want to know what he did? Sent the money to my Venmo instead, like a fucking idiot, boomer. And that pissed me off. And then I just had to fucking awkwardly explain to my buddy, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I promise to God, swear on my life, I'm not hiding funds from you. I just genuinely cannot access this account in any way, and there's no way to access it. And, my buddy was pretending to understand, but I guess his version of retaliating was like, okay, if she's going to take money from me, I'm going to take money from her. I'm going to take most of the money then, whenever we work at this venue, and then I'll give her scraps. And then he tried to allude some dumb shit. He tried to allude that I was hiding the funds from him or making excuses. And he tried to be like, you do know you can send money requests from one Venmo to another, right? Like, you can do that. And he said it in such a matter-of-fact, snarky, shitty, passive-aggressive, stupid-ass, ignorant, dumbass old man tone. Like, he said it as if he was trying to teach someone how to pour water out of a boot, even if the directions were written on the fucking heel. He treated me stupid, and that's what I don't respect. When in reality, he was the one being an idiot. So I had to tell him, I was like, listen, yeah, you can request and send money on Venmo because that's how the app works. But unfortunately, if you requested from my Venmo, I would still have to have access to the inside of my Venmo to even accept and send you the money that I owe you. And then secondly, even if I wanted to send you money, guess what I'd still need access to? My fucking Venmo, which I don't have in any capacity. Fucking idiot. And then he was like, oh, and then but still, and then he just, I'll put it this way, and then I remember I was still thinking about it when I got home, and then he sent me a message like, seems like you're not into this anymore, we don't have to talk, blah, 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 and I mean, we don't have to, like, he just tried to basically dismiss me first, because he was afraid that I was going to cut him off, and then he's just been so shitty. Anyway, let's just say, there's not much to say other than, I tried to be civil with him. I tried to be like, hey, listen, man, like, some time had passed, a long ass weekend had passed, and I was like, hey, listen, man, is it possible that for the event that I produce, I know you always took pictures of the sign up sheets, and I always put a star next to the names of people I want to put on the showcase. Is there any chance you'd be able to send me photos of those sheets? And he left me on red, and he left me on red for a little bit too long. I forget how long, 10 minutes, half an hour. All I know is it pissed me the fuck off, and I was like, you know what, never mind, because clearly you're just on some snake shit, so we can just end this here. Let's cut each other off. So I blocked him from messages, but I still kept him as a friend, because I know that in my social scene, I will get a lot farther if I pretend me and him are still on good terms, versus if I make it clear and open that I have a beef with him. He's considered a sweet guy in the scene, and I am not going to lose reputation or face, even if he does me dirty, because I know how these fucking idiots are out here. So I just kind of made a PR excuse of, oh, I'm so ill, I passed out for 17 hours recently, so I can only do one event a week and it's mine. Good luck to the other events every Tuesday though, good for them, good for them. And I made that shit clear. And then, like, people were like, oh no, I hope you feel better, and they were hemming and hawing and trying to, all that shit. But I'll put it to you like this. This nigga, I'll put it this way. I hope he enjoys his shitty fucking events, but I'm just saying, I can be a very civil and understanding person, and I tried to. I tried to with my comedy buddy. I tried to be as civil and understanding as possible, and to a point where it was overly so, and I'm still giving mercy, because I could get online and say, this motherfucker tried to strip me of a bunch of fucking funds, a bunch of money, and he is a rich old lawyer who could die any day and really just wants to save money for himself because he wants to send himself to fucking Manila to be a passport bro and take advantage of all the fucking beautiful, beautiful Thailand girls and Bangkok girls and Philippines girls. He's a fucking weirdo. And when I say girls, I mean legal age, by the way. But even then, creepy. Like, ew. For so many reasons. Ew. And then as for me, it's like, I'll put it this way. I am not in a good financial position. Or at least not as good as I can be. Even more so because my Venmo's fucked up. If my Venmo wasn't fucked up, you would at least see me with, like, especially after the money Luke gave me. I'll put it this way. If you, to accuse me passive aggressively of stealing funds from him, look at my fucking hair. Look at my fucking hair. Look at my armpits. I would stand up and show you my skirt, but I really don't want you to see it. I would show you my fucking disgusting ass pillow color and the color of my blankets right now. I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not gonna do that to you, buddy. Just look at this hole in the wall. You will, like, you wanna sit there and accuse me of taking money? As if I hadn't shown up for the last 2 weeks looking like a fucked up ass South Park character. The way I'm wearing random ass fucking SF Giants beanies and I'm not even from there. With fucking palazzo pants that barely fit because there's elastic. Nigga, it's rainstorm season. Or at least every now and then. And you saw me wearing flip flops, a ripped jean jacket, and a wife beater with shitty ass palazzo pants that didn't fit, and a headscarf where my hair was actually sticking up huge like a fucking peanut head character from the Proud Family because my mangled and tangled afro, matted as fuck, was standing up like a motherfucking twin tower underneath my scarf, not being able to be taken down by any sort of hat or scarf of any kind. Bitch, I had people crossing the street when I walked down the street thinking I was homeless. And you want to assume I'm taking money from you? I had to ask one of the venues we worked for within the past 2 weeks for a garbage bag because I do not have garbage bags in my house. And you want to accuse me of stealing funds? Bitch, annoying. That is me. And it's like, I was way too, I'm still being too civil to this guy. I'm still playing nice, as if it's like I'm rooting for their events. Deep down, no. And what's so funny is people did message me. Like, people were so upset hearing that I wasn't going to be at their recent Halloween event. And I wanted to be there, but it's like, there's just nah, fuck it. He can get all the tip money, he can get all the money from the bar, all that shit, because he's fucking with me. I just can't stand him anymore. And then on top of that, it's just like, I want the events. He doesn't know how to work the soundboards. The bartender doesn't. He tips the bartender. He gave the bartender more money than he gave me. I forgot to mention that. It was so stupid. He gave the bartender, like, I'll put it this way, if we make 35 bucks in revenue, and then instead of splitting it 50-50, you give me 10 bucks and you give the bartender 25, that's fucking stupid, because and he was like, oh, well, the bartender probably didn't make that much money. He didn't. There was a shit ton of people. On top of that, I don't know how to say this nicely. The bartender doesn't give a shit. I had to tell the bartender recently. I was like, hey, this fan is going off really loud behind the comedians and none of us can hear him. Can you turn it off for us? He was like, yeah, I'll do it after him. Just for as soon as the comedian set ended, he clicked one single button that he could have clicked the whole time. A single 5 millimeters to his right next to his hand. And he just ruined a comedian's set for no reason. That's the guy who gets more money than me. The person, like, really, I had to go to that comedian online immediately after their set was done and message them how good their set was and that I'm sorry they didn't get a huge reaction because no one else heard them but me in the DJ booth. Eh. And then also, it's like, the bartender doesn't give a shit. The bartender doesn't even know where the fucking, like, the bartender, I could ask, like, hey, we want to put the A sign outside to bring in customers and people walking down the street to see comedy. Do you have the chalk? And he'll be like, nah, we don't have it. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, what's that behind you underneath the tablet register thing? And then he'll see it, be like, oh, and then give it to me. That's the guy who gets more money. He's been working at that place for God knows how long, and then he has no idea how to work the dials and the knobs in the back. I do, though. And then even if that dude did know, he still wouldn't help out with the knobs or the dials. I remember at some point it was a chaotic ass evening, and then the bartender and my buddy were in the back trying to figure out what dials would work. I go in, and it takes me less than 10 seconds to get everything up and running, because otherwise there would have been absolutely no microphone, no sound, no anything for the bar that night for comedy. Why did I get less money? Also, my comedy buddy is the type to complain about, like, oh, I need money for the toll fees and for parking and gas, and I'm not making money. And then when he does actually make money, he'll be like, I'm gonna shut Tamara funds that I know she's owed. I'm gonna give the bartender who doesn't give a fuck if we live or die, most of the money we made. Just fuck it. Give the bar back like 90% of their money that we made. Fuck it. And then on top of that, then he'll have nothing for himself. He's so fucking stupid. And honestly, good riddance, because even for my shows, when he's the host, he has not been doing good. He will get like, we will have a full audience. He's been doing terrible to the point where even a bunch of other shows he was running lately had to all be shut down. You want to know why? Excuse me, pardon me. You want to know why? Because he's the type of idiot that'll go, I'm gonna get on stage and talk about sex crimes, and he'll just get on stage saying the dumbest shit like, ooh, when I was 11, my hot older college age sister stripped me naked to my underwears, my tidy whities, and they called me their little pee pee piss piss boy and put me in the corner, and they threw condom wrappers at me and they said, dance, bitch, dance. And then he'll just say sexually uncomfortable things like that, or he'll talk about fucking the neighbor's poodle, and then he'll be all shocked that like 7 people will fucking stand up at once and leave because his jokes. I remember once he had a good joke that only takes like 2 minutes to tell. It took him 7 fucking minutes. It's like, nigga, okay, I'll tell the joke. The joke is very simple. At some point, my buddy, he goes and when he was like a younger man in comedy, he ate a big juicy burger and the juices got all over his hands, and so he before he was going to get on stage like to perform, because he was going to be one of the next acts on stage or so, he goes to the bathroom, he washes his hands, and then as he's washing his hands, he's like, oh, like he puts them into the dryer, and then the dryer somehow fucks up and like splashes water all over his jeans, so it looks like he pissed himself. So then he's like, oh shit, and he was a strong man back in the day, so he does this thing where like he sidles himself up between the sink and the dryer and just tries to like lift himself on top of the hot air dryer so it like blows hot air on his crotch to dry off the piss stain. And it thankfully works. And then someone comes in and they're like, hey, buddy, you're about to get on stage. He's like, oh, shit. So then he gets on stage, and as he's performing, he looks down and he sees a huge fucking turd stuck to the side of his leg. And he just has to pretend and try his best to turn to his side so that no one sees a ginormous fucking turd stuck to the side of his leg. And the reason the turd was there was because I guess some weirdo took a shit in the bathroom, then purposely rubbed it on the side of the sink, and his leg just so happened to brush against that side. Someone wiped their ass with this bathroom sink. Funny as fuck. And so then, after he got off stage, and somehow most people didn't notice, he just like went back to his burger, took the fucking turd napkin, threw it back on his burger, and then tried to go to the bathroom to rewash his pants off or whatever. And then I guess the staff just was like, oh shit, a shit napkin burger. They're clearly done with this. What the fuck is this? And they throw it out. And that's the story of how he lost one of the best burgers he's had in his life in a weird feces incident. It's not that funny of a story, or at least like it's funny. It needs some work to do. And I think I told that relatively quickly. Imagine if someone took 7 minutes to tell that story, and then by the 7 minute mark, they were still at the part where it's like they just got done washing their hands. How do you take 7 minutes to describe hand washing? Sir, happens to the best of us, but Jesus Christ, get a grip. So yeah, he just gets on a mic and talks about sex crimes and shit, and he's not very funny, and he's just a liability. He will not sleep. He gave himself an eating disorder. He just eats non-stop. He just like endless Ozempic, endless Benadryl, endless coffee. And then he won't work out. He's just, I'll put it this way, he's a self-victimizing person where every issue in the world is truly just like the weight of the world is on his shoulders, that nothing bad has ever been his fault. And so he's the type of weirdo that'll be like, ah damn, it's because I'm out here paying Tam to work as a production assistant back before the whole 10% at the bar and tip bucket thing. It used to just be like he'd give me $15 and 2 drinks at the bar. And then somehow he got it in his head that I was the enemy and that I was taking most of his funds away and stealing his chance to go to like the Philippines or Manila or like save his life, and I was a liability to him. And he started lashing out at me and then tried to cut me off, and that didn't end well for him, so he had to figure out a new strategy. And then on top of that, It's just other shit. Other shit. It just kept getting worse and worse. I don't know how to explain it other than he's the type of guy that will just, you see his mental decline. If you even looked for the past 2 years, you would see his mental decline so steadily and terribly. And then he's losing his hair. He's he has a quicker temperament. He's honestly getting borderline. I'm gonna say the R word. Well, I'll just say troglodyte. He's becoming a fucking idiot. And it's like I keep telling him, it's like, nigga, you need to eat some fucking shrimp and steak. You need to take some vitamins. You need to sleep, rest, exercise, do things with your life. And that's coming from me, someone who fucking stays inside all the time, drinking fucking Mountain Dew and sleeping and being in the fetal position. Even every now and then I'll be like, you know what, today's a day where I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna take a walk in the sun, paint in the sun, feed the birds, fucking do some stretching, do some spirituality shit, and have fun. You need to do these things in your life. You can't just like, but no, he will just not. And then he'll act like the whole world is against him and that I'm just some ungrateful cunt taking most of his money and draining him of his energy and funds when the whole time I'm his biggest supporter. And he's the one trying to fuck me up. Like, nigga, you know I don't eat every single day of the week. You know that sometimes it takes like 2 days of the week, maybe even more, where I'm just not eating. Anyway, there's a lot up with this guy, but either way, it's a relief that it's no longer my problem. But it's still kind of sad. I would have wanted a better ending from things, but you know what? Deep down, I know he wasn't. He's just pathetic. It's like, I guess I feel like the equivalent of like a queen who had a royal advisor that she finds out is now plotting against her and scheming against her and now has to get him like sent away and cast away from high society in the castle in the kingdom. The closest confidant is now gone. Now I have to stand on my own 2 feet. What's so funny is that several times he had done stupid ass things to me to teach me self-sufficiency, and now he's going to learn the hard way that he can barely stand on his own 2 feet. But hey, people say the recent event without me went pretty good this week. They did miss me, absolutely. And it definitely wasn't the same without the music, but they said, like, but then again, the guy who told me was extremely sweet. He's not gonna be like, oh, it was a shit show. He'll just say, like, oh, it was a solid time. It went solid. It went pretty great. Yeah, it was still fun. And, like, so it's like, if it goes well, that's cool. If it goes bad, haha. And if it goes well, okay, good for them. All I know is not my fucking issue. I am willing to take the cut of pay because you know what? It wasn't that much money anyway. And I am willing to just reinvest it back into myself. And you know what? I can just run my own events and make it spectacular and take all the money. Except this time, it would actually be me deserving all the money because he would no longer be my host. Or not even all the money. I think I would still probably pay someone else to be like a guest host too, because they deserve it. And so like now he's getting replaced by someone who actually is funny, is not just some like stupid old boomer who can't eat, can't sleep, and can't tell jokes without just describing sex crimes or scaring off audience members and putting people to sleep. And also he couldn't remember a list. I remember like at the last time he actually was allowed to host my event, he fucked up so bad that it was like, I'll put it this way, he skipped someone's name almost 3 times in a row and got an attitude with me over it. And it's like, sir, you're disrespecting him. Come on now, let's get it together. And you're fucking up my flow because I had specific music lined up for specific people. If you skip their names, you fuck up everything. So either way, it's like, okay, now he's gonna have to see the hard way that it's like my event is gonna go great without him. There's no reason it shouldn't, because I have my own speaker, and even if it's not like an impressive big old one, it's like, okay, I don't need a, it's like it could just be a small one. And aside from that, it's like there's other people who are funny and who are healthy, take care of themselves, and are honestly happy to just have the stage time. So I'm just saying. And then as for what's that thing? What's that thing called? Yeah, I don't need him. Oh, Do I want to circle back to Luke? I could easily circle back to Luke on this. Luke is also a self-victimizing person. He's the type of dude to be like, oh no, my parents have stuck me in the house and I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything. And some things, sorry, ignore my fucking bathroom if you can, but 1 second. I'm heavy. It's heavy. There we go, I'm back. I'll say it. Luke is a self-victimizing person. Not to say we all aren't in our own ways, but I'll put it this way. I made a choice when I was 20, when my mom was losing her mind at me, that it was going to be her last time doing it. And I struggled and I persevered for a while, but I tried my best. And now I'm doing significantly better, and I have a million times over. And I'm super happy. And then as for Luke, he's not like me. He's never been through that. He has been estranged from his family, but he came back. He worked on his bond with them, but only in the sense of, I'm going to detransition and find God and go to rehab and hate on minorities with my family so that then we can make a shit ton of money off of it. But that doesn't make him happy. And he's still stuck in the house all the time suffering. And he was interested in me because I represent all the stuff that he isn't. I represent his confidence. I represent his queerness. I represent the part of him that deep down actually kind of likes minorities. I represent the part of him that is creative, ambitious, driven, happy, sexy, embraces her sensuality and sexuality, is not afraid to be whatever fucking gender identity or look that she wants to be. I mold myself into what I want, and I do so happily. He, on the other hand, he doesn't. He doesn't know what the fuck he is. He doesn't know what he wants to be happy anymore. At some point, he wanted me to be happy, but I think even after sex, he realized I wasn't the cure to his problems. I was just a really hot lady when the time called for it, which is okay. We've all had to learn that lesson the hard way, including me. Sometimes you can still fuck someone with a big dick or luscious body. Sometimes you can still get the piece of jewelry or go to the fun event and all that, and it doesn't change the fact that you will wake up the next day miserable. Sometimes that thing just happens. But I will say, I really liked him. I think he still has a chance to grow into the person he truly is. And I guess, funny enough, this is relevant because it's an analogy. Luke once told me that his favorite color was purple. Oftentimes, you would see him wear a lot of navy blue, navy blue, navy blue, navy blue. But once I saw him wear red, I guess his family prefers him in navy blue. You know, navy blue suits, dark blue suits, always, always, always. And then once he wore like a very nice blood red t-shirt, and I was like, I love that color on you. I think it's great, and if it were up to me, you'd wear it all the time. Well, I didn't say that last part, but I thought that last part. And deep down, what I want for Luke is, I don't want Luke to just be a full culmination of what his family desires, a totally navy blue, dark, dark life. I don't want him to be everything I desire, just some like fiery, red hot, crazed life either. Somewhere in the middle, somewhere that he genuinely likes, a purple life, a combination of both things that he enjoys within a perfect balance so he can truly be the man or woman or whatever he is that he wants to be. And I want him to figure it out. Is it my responsibility to change him or save him? No, because no offense, I'll put it this way. Sometimes I get close to changing people and saving people, but they always revert back to their natural ways. I have made men go from obsessed with weed and shrooms and being all loosey-goosey, crazed, sex addict perverts to men of God who wear suits or wear like cardigans with glasses and curly hair and actually like file taxes and like take care of their families and do good. But they will always revert if that's in their nature. At some point, I saw my closest comedy buddy. I saw him at some point, he started thriving. Because of me, he got more confidence, he got more cheer, more charm, he tried his luck more. He was actually growing as a person. And he's been reverting recently into something that I've seen him be before, and I don't respect it. A sourpuss, a loser, an old fucking idiot. A degenerate who's not taking care of himself and gets on stage and makes everyone uncomfortable and everyone leaves.
and is selfish and irritable and resentful, but deep down never will try anything new. And he'll be the same type of psycho that tries the same tactic a million fucking times and gets upset that it doesn't work, but will never try anything new. I've done that before in many ways, trust me. Why do you think I keep trying to save people despite how, when's the last time saving someone actually worked? And even when it did work, when did it work in my favor? And when did it stay that way? So I know I can't save Luke. Because, hey, you know what? At some point I thought I saw him slowly start to turn into a version that seemed more purple instead of navy blue, that seemed more naturally him, where he could embrace what he is. He can speak in whatever voice he wants, whatever tone, say whatever he wants, and not be restricted. I saw him flinch less, shake less, be happier. But you know what? He called me slurs and threatened to kill me. So fuck him. And I fucked up his life, but you know what? He'll be alright. He'll pick up the pieces and rebuild something new, maybe even something better. If he wants to rebuild his life and put all the pieces that were shattered together into the exact same place to still be a loser, alright. You can still always see the cracks though, bitch. Stop trying to force what shouldn't be. But if he actually genuinely was like, okay, I'm gonna make it into a mosaic of all my experiences into something new, beautiful, and better that I actually love and I enjoy, and by I mean him, then guess what? I'd be happy for him. I want him to live in his own image, not one forced on by me, not one forced on by his family, his church, his weird little fucked up little cult. Nah, I want him happy. But I can't make him happy. So I'll just try to make myself happy. And I guess the question is, what would make me happy? We've talked a lot about what these people desire and how they've done me wrong and all that, but what would make me happy? I'll put it this way, I went from having at least 3 different shows I was helping with production on each week, and endless mic runs that I would go on, like 2, 3 mics a night with my comedy buddy, and all this ambitious shit. But since me and him have severed ties, I probably won't travel into the city as much. I probably will not be going to those events anymore. I may just have like 1 single event a week. I guess now it's like, okay, I'll lean into other comedy friends who want to produce things, which I already do have. And I guess I can embrace a life like, okay, I'll put it this way. Just like with Luke, and just like with Joe, like Joe will have to figure out how he's going to run his event without me as an important piece. And I won't say his life is shattered, but now he has to find a way to make a puzzle look good with the missing piece and restructure some things and cut certain things up, so now it's something new and beautiful. It'll either work or it won't, but some things are blessings in disguise. For all you know, that event he's running will end, and he'll start something new, better, and fresher somewhere else. And then as for Luke, Luke can figure out what he wants to do with his life. We plan to talk once a week, like a little phone call every now and then, just to see, like, what can happen. He wouldn't be the first guy. Like I said, I've had this happen so many different times where sometimes I fuck up a nigga's life and then next thing you know, we're lifelong friends. Like, I've been awkward, like, frenemies with benefits with JC for, like, what, 5, 6 years now? Which is really weird to think about. But it's true. He remembers my birthday and wished me happy birthday like 3 to 4 times this year. The year before that, he gave me a shit ton of money, if I recall correctly. He's an interesting fella. We've had a lot of downs, but we also had plenty of ups. I'm just saying. Sometimes you can find sanctuary in the most interesting places. I'm his sanctuary. I don't know if he's mine, though. So, but you know what? As long as he gives me money and food. I guess what would make me happy? I want my community space that I currently have to thrive as big as possible and make as much money as I can so that I can be self-sustaining. So far, so good. Let's see. I definitely want to start more mics in my area so that then I can just have stuff constantly going on in my city to support local businesses and really kick things off. And I already have a good bond with one place. I want to have a good bond with multiple places to the point where it's like, okay, guaranteed food, guaranteed money and income, guaranteed friendship off of that. And I want to have it without it relying on the likes of Joe, my comedy buddy. And I also want money and joy and love that doesn't rely on someone like Luke, a fucking fascist loser who's an asshole. And also, he's broke, so I can't even really rely on him, even if he was a good guy. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying. So I guess it's just like, I'll probably make my motivation for this month, especially because November is such a weird month. It's like hot right now, but it's also like the mornings are rainstorms, and then by afternoon it's scaldingly hot weather. And then on top of that, we have, yeah, I guess it's like everyone's looking for community. Friendsgiving is popular because more people are having issues with their families. And I just want to have a great bond and a connection with more people. So I think I'll probably just work on like building more community spaces and just trying my best. And seeing who I can be allies with along the way to ease my burden without having to rely on people who would betray me. And I'll make the right connections and meet the right people and find love and make friends. And it'll be great. And I will love it. And I will love my life. Anything else I want? Yeah. And I wouldn't say I'm even worried about love right now. I had a date last night. Indian software engineer, half white, half Indian. He was the type of dude to come to the strip club, only spend like 20 bucks, and like stare at like 13 girls like it was a free show. I don't respect that shit. So I'm just saying, it's like if I'm gonna throw myself even more into comedy production and event production, I'm gonna want the niggas with the big funds, cause it's like I'm big, busy, I'm extremely sexy, and I have a lot that I want to do and enjoy. So don't piss me off. Anyway, my loves, let's see, what do I want to do today? I want to make a trailer for the venue I'm currently dealing with, so I bet they get a lot of revenue. I want to get my hair braided, because you know what? Fuck it. It's like, thankfully, I worked out something with the venue where now I do have the money that I was going to give to Joe, but me and Joe aren't talking, and you know what? It's like, I'm fine severing the ties. Frankly, he seems grateful just that I'm not airing him out on the internet. And even outside of him, I did also have, yeah, actually, fuck it. The money I do have to spend on hair braiding, funny enough, it isn't even going to be out of pocket from funds I could decide to give to him later on or not, now that we've cut connections. I forgot that I got on this settlement for Juul, the vape company. I'd never even vaped, but a friend just told me years ago to sign up for it, and they just paid out, so I forgot I still have those funds. And as I said, now it's like, yeah, I'll get my hair done. I'll probably buy some winter clothes so I can be cute, so I don't have to look homeless anymore this winter. Um, like, what, 90 bucks for some shitty cornrows so I can wear wigs. I got a 50-buck Visa card, funny enough, from a date that I had with Luke, where they made him pay for hella hash browns and shit, and they treated him like shit, and he was shaking so hard, and he didn't know how to handle it, so he paid for it. I got a refund. I told him, I was like, do you want the money? He said, why don't you keep it? So I kept it. He was sweet for that reason, whether it was because he wanted to be nice to me or because he just was dismissive and paranoid that I would use it against him. I don't know. But getting him his money back. But now I have 50 bucks for shoes, 90 bucks for hair, another 100 or so to get like a few sweaters and like some fleece tights and maybe like a skirt or something. Not bad. And then, alright, I already got the body transformation down. Yesterday I did very well. I backed up a huge bag of garbage, like literally the size of me times two, times three. I have no idea how I'm getting it out of my house, but all I know is it's bagged up. It's not bothering me, and for the first time, my bedroom smells fresh and full of good air. God bless. And I'm just gonna invest as much as I can into myself, because you know what? I deserve it. I'm so tired of people taking from me. I want to be given to. and I plan to give to myself and love myself first. Amen. Peace out.